What's up, West Texas and MMA Monday viewers? This is Damien Bartonek, the host of MMA Monday, and let's talk about what it's like to be a media member on behalf of of Fox West Texas and the UFC, right? So this was amazing. It was my first time ever doing this, and it honestly could not have went any better for me, both personally and professionally. In terms of the, professional part, all of this was done correctly, in my opinion. It was the best media experience that I've had, and I've been able to cover some events, some significant events like, various college football and basketball games, stuff like that, D1 college games, all that good stuff. And the UFC's treatment of the media in terms of, where we were seated here, the food they gave us, the easy access to everyone really was second to none. It was actually very good. Not only that, too, every person that we asked questions to, before and after the event, very, very open, very, they didn't, shut any questions down. The PR team didn't do anything like that. So that was interesting. That was nice. With that being said, though, obviously every time you do have, a fighter or Dana himself come up there, obviously there's PR people with them. So if there was something that they, didn't want to talk about, of course they would shut it down immediately. But they didn't do that. We didn't have any, experience like that. So all in all, can't complain whatsoever. It was actually very, very encouraged, and honestly, it was really cool. As far as that's concerned, though, we'll put that to bed for right now. In terms of where we're seated and everything, we're right on the floor. And I was told, in Texas venues like the AT&T Center or like, the Toyota Center, you're on the floor. Now in Vegas, they're going to have you up in the rafters, and rightfully so. Vegas is venue and that, how much money they make on those floor seats. Obviously, it pales in comparison to, what you do in Texas. But with that being said, this was my first time ever this close. And as an avid, fan of the sport, someone who practices jiu-jitsu himself, this was an experience I'll never forget from just a purely fan perspective and also just a professional perspective, man. It's really different. The noises that you hear, the coaching, everything that you get, the fans, when you hear the fans from that low, oh my goodness, man, it is unlike anything you've ever really heard of, man. It's different. It's whenever Conor McGregor made the walk at UFC 189, I remember one of the play-by-play guys says it's like a rock concert in here. And to be fair, I honestly think it was like that as well at the AT&T Center. But not only that, let's talk a little bit about the food that they served us. They served us some, basil pesto lasagna, beef tenderloin, chicken, potato salad, some mixed berry cobbler. All of that was money. It was all very, very good. I was very impressed with that as well. I had some people that, cover the Spurs that go over there to those events, and they said, yeah, this is gourmet. This is, A5 Wagyu compared to what the Spurs serve us. So Uncle Dana did it right there. But yeah, man, all in all, I got to bump elbows and with some of the people that I really respect in this sport, both as fighters and professionally, man. And that's something that I honestly am so grateful for. And I got to thank, not only Fox West Texas for giving me this job, but also the UFC for, approving my credentials, man, because I did try before I had a professional gig, and I always got rejected. But now I got approved, and man, I think I made the most of it. And, I guess we can end off there because it'll lead into all the questions that I asked. I got to speak to Macy Barber, Dana White, Cory Sandhagen, Daniel Pineda, Holly Holm. I got to talk to everybody, really. So I'll leave those questions as well so you can hear everything that I asked. But with that, being said, this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience from a professional perspective and a personal perspective. But luckily for me and, really where I'm at, this will not be the only time I do this. So I look forward to not only being able to tell some more stories with these fighters and, experience what I did, but honestly bump more elbows with, professionals that I really respect in this sport as well. So all in all, it was a fantastic experience. There were some things like at the AT&T Center, for example, after every fight, the winners, they're available for comment, right? So if you go over to the press conference, right, you have to walk from the arena, from where the cage is at, up the stairs, then to the media center. Well, you'll probably miss a fight in between that. So there were a couple fights I didn't get to see, but all in all, it's one of those things where professionally you already know you have to make sacrifices for specific, interviews and all that other good stuff. So that wasn't a problem for me, man. Honestly, like I said, It's Monday here, March 27th, and I cannot wait for the next time I cover the UFC, not only to give y'all more content, but honestly to keep on telling stories, and who knows, man, who knows where we can take this. But with that being said, thank you guys for listening, and let's check out the interview portion of the show. Alexander Hernandez is from San Antonio. CJ's also from San Antonio. Even a guy like Zach Borrego fought on Fury FC last night. He's from San Antonio. What do you think about the Texas MMA scene overall?
Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. I met a girl at the gym this morning too who won the bantamweight championship, I guess, last night at Fury too. So she was talking to me about the Contender Series. So listen, Texas has been very good to us, meaning the UFC, since day one. We love coming down here. We love putting on fights here. We love the crowd here. I love every city here. Every city is unique and fun and different. And it's all good, man.
And I also want to know, so March is Women's History Month. Obviously, Holly Holm is a history maker. We all know this. Can you talk a little bit about what she means to you as a promoter, someone that's been here and followed her career for forever?
Well, what's incredible about Holly Holm is what does she mean to combat sports, period. I mean, boxing Hall of Fame, she'll end up UFC Hall of Fame. She did kickboxing too. I mean, she's a very unique, incredible human being, let alone woman. So, she's somebody that we will absolutely, positively celebrate. All of her achievements in all the combat sports. She's incredible and one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet.
And my last one for you. Last time you were here, Leon Edwards was in the main event. Obviously, he's the welterweight champion now. You have a guy like Cory Sandhagen who just wins, and it looks like he's right on the cusp of that as well. Do you think that's something that could be in Cory's future as well?
Yeah, like we were just talking, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he looked really good tonight, and obviously he beat the number 3 guy in the world who, he absolutely, I mean, that wasn't a split decision. Whoever scored that fight a split decision I don't even know. I'm not even going to go there, but he absolutely dominated tonight and put himself in a really good position.
A quick analogy. So later in his career, Michael Jordan added the turnaround jumper as his bread and butter. For you later in your career, after the grappling display you've been putting on, is that something that might be your bread and butter as we kind of progress into the later part of your career?
Yeah, you never know. If there's a few things, there are a few things that I don't have on my record yet. I don't have a stoppage from just like the ref having to stop me from ground and pound or a submission. I still got those out there. I mean, I'm always liking the knockouts, and I always like the technical knockouts, all that kind of stuff. But I still feel like there's unfinished business. So.
And with it being Women's History Month this month, I would just like to know, I don't know if you ever get a chance to reflect on your career, but how does it feel knowing that you are not only boxing Hall of Famer, but you will be a first ballot UFC Hall of Famer and all that good stuff?
I'm very humble, and I feel a lot of support, and I'm super blessed to be able to be a female and be an athlete. I feel proud to be a female and be an athlete, and I'm proud to be a woman. I love being a woman, and I'm a competitive woman. I feel like I want to always use my platform to try and be positive to people and to other women, not just women, everyone, but to other women too. I feel like sometimes people can feel like maybe what they're supposed to do is maybe like on this certain path, and I feel like my book is different than anybody else's, and this is what my path has been. I did 10 years of boxing, and now I've done a decade of martial arts, and 10 years ago, people thought I should have retired then. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm on my own journey, and I'm thankful that I have a team that supports that, and isn't trying to. I feel like if people don't support you really, or think that you should retire too, that makes you feel weak, And I'm just glad that I have a strong team that's like, yeah, we can do it. And they truly believe in me. But I'm proud to be a woman and do what I do and be writing my own book.
You think your opponent's grappling, she did take you down 5 times, but what did you make of it? Obviously, you still, got the decision, so clearly you did something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously her takedowns were good, but her damage was not there, So, if I'm gonna take you down, I'm gonna try and hurt you, and I feel like she took me down to not get hurt. So that's kind of, what I recognized in her grappling and in her wrestling. So, we expose that.
Yeah, and also I was talking to your coach right here. This is my first time ever covering an event, and I have Uriah Faber eating lunch right next to me. I thought that was pretty funny. But speaking of your coaches though, I saw him. He's giddy, running out the cage, running. They had to tell him to go this way, go this way. What do your coaches mean to you? Like, what is that relationship like?
It means a lot. Damn, I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I bounced around a lot, and I've always, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional. I bounced around a lot in camps and in gyms, and I've had a lot of amazing coaches, but I never felt at home. I never had like a home where I was like super, I'm sorry, my nose is running, everything's running, where I was like super proud and humbled and honored to be like learning and sharing the room with them, and them taking me under their wing and sharing their knowledge. It's an incredible thing, and I have a family inside of a family. It's special. I'm sorry, I'm falling apart over here.
You're just fine.
Yeah.
I got blood coming out. Oh man, we're messy over here.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the first one was I saw your opponent, and he came into this fight with 13 KOs or TKOs. What did you make of his striking in there? Because that's where you ultimately won the fight.
Well, it's he got where he is because he earned it, but so did I. And I've been competing a lot in striking realm, in Taekwondo, Muay Thai. Knockouts happen. It just happens. Sometimes people get caught. Sometimes people are very skilled and they land them. And, it didn't really bother me. I'm right there. I love being in the line of fire. I love being a second and a movement away from being unconscious. Because that means that so are they, And that is the moment that I think that is my vice, is just living in danger, just living in that line, the fine line where you could be unconscious any moment, or you could be the person putting someone else unconscious at any moment.
And in your post fight, you were shouting out I believe a chiropractic place. And did you shout out Floresville as well? Did I hear that correctly?
No, Eric Flores.
Eric Flores.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you shouted out Floresville. My family was texting me. They were like, "Oh, he shouted out Floresville." They were getting all excited. But my other one was for you in that second round. It looked like he was starting to kind of take the momentum a little bit from you. But in that third round, it was a really, really tight battle there. Did you sense kind of the momentum kind of shifting his way in the middle of the fight, or not really?
I noticed that he came back with some more perhaps pace. I think he felt he lost the first round. He needed to come back strong, and I need to make sure that when people are hurt, they fight harder. So I need to make sure I kept my composure. I need to time that a little better. I know that I was a little more patient just because I myself didn't want to jump into something too crazy and then get caught. But I think that's something I need to work on to make sure I keep pace without losing focus sometimes. But, we were able to capitalize again on the round, get a takedown, and make sure that he knew where he stood or not stood.
Perfect, brother. Thank you. Well, there was a portion that essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, but you essentially said, they were saying that, Chito needs a title shot over me, or they're going to give him a shot over me. Do you think emotionally that kind of helped you in locking in for this fight even more so than you already are?
Yeah, because I think it's ridiculous. I beat Song, who beat Chito, and then Chito jumped up to 3. I was like, what is going on here? But he had a couple good knockouts, and people improve and this and that. So I get it, but I definitely don't think Chito's better than me. And so when he was ranked above me and getting a bunch of attention because he was hype guy, then yeah, that bothers me. But I don't know. I don't really have too many opinions about a lot of this stuff, to be honest with you. I just show up every day and try to get myself better.
With guys like yourself, Zach Borrego, Alex Hernandez, what do you think about the San Antonio MMA scene?
I feel like it's underrated, because you have ATT, aka you've got the Denver gyms, and they get so much clout and so much recognition because you've got these big names in there, a bunch of top 10 guys in there, and I've trained with Team Alpha Male, I've trained with Factory X, and don't get me wrong, they're great gyms, but for me, it's always been about having my coach, Pete Spratt, and having the relationship that we have. He's like my second father, so as long as I have the trust in him, I've never needed anything else. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll cross-train, but here in San Antonio, we're also starting to embrace each other more. I think that for a while here in the city, it was very much segregated almost. It was factions, don't go to this gym if you go to this gym. But I feel like there's a brotherhood and camaraderie because we all want the same thing. And even though we may face each other eventually, right now we're all going towards the same thing. So I think that you're going to see, along with myself, other guys like Alex Hernandez and Zach Borrego be able to start to rise up to the occasion more and more. And I mean, this city there's a bunch of dogs out here, man. Everybody in here likes to scrap. So you guys will see more guys on the roster from San Antonio.
I got one more for you.
Sure.
You came out to El Rey. How hard of a decision was that, if even hard at all?
So it was between that one and Tragos Amargos by Ramon Ayala. So whenever I'm out at bars or Fiesta or any events, those songs, or a Selena song, when this come on, I mean, I'm talking the entire crowd goes crazy. So I was watching Narcos with my brother a few weeks ago, and there's an episode where Young Chapo was at a party, and this big drug dealer in there is screaming the lyrics to that song. And I actually never translated the lyrics in my head. So I looked up the lyrics and I was like, okay, that's the one.
Yeah.
For sure.
My grandma's favorite song, bro.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.